So these are some sample issue topics. So in which some open-ended argument would be given to you. For example, look at the topic 2, which is given over here. While many accomplishments are built on existing knowledge, many significant breakthroughs result from those who have completely broken with tradition. Clearly, then, significant breakthroughs do not always build upon existing knowledge, right? So they are basically, how many of you understood the topic? The first thing is to understand what they are trying to say. Second thing is to agree or disagree on that, or maybe you can have a neutral approach, right? Maybe you can have agreement as well as disagreement on the topic. So you can find examples for both the sides and you can present your viewpoint over here. So the first thing which you have to decide upon is whether you are going to agree or disagree with the topic. There's nothing in right and wrong about it. ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर आप इस पे एग्री करेंगे तो ही आपको ऐसे स्कोरिंग ज्यादा आने वाली है, आप डिसएग्री करेंगे तो कम आएगी. It again depends what kind of examples you'll be using, what is your structure, how reasonable your statements are, and how good they are backing up those things. So how many of you understood the topic and how many of you agree or disagree with this topic? The topic 2, which we are discussing. Samriddhi says she'll go with a neutral approach in which she is agreeing or disagreeing. So partially agree, partially disagree, right? And it would also be majorly agree, right? Like most of the, you have examples on agreement side, but then you have one or two examples on disagreement side also. So that is like 70 or 80% I'm agreeing with the topic, but there could be few cases and exceptions, right? So it could be a balanced approach. It could be like this way also, which I'm talking about. What about others? बाकी लोगों का क्या पर्सपेक्टिव है इस टॉपिक पे? So I'll help you understand what this topic is saying. It is saying basically कि जितने breakthroughs हो रहे हैं, they are not actually dependent on some old knowledge. It's not dependent on existing knowledge. They are giving you some example for that कि many accomplishments are actually built on existing knowledge and many significant breakthroughs result from those who have completely broken with tradition. So they were not based on existing knowledge. So they are saying clearly then significant breakthroughs. Significant is like the most important breakthroughs are happening not on existing knowledge, but something new is happening, right? So a person who is basically not following the tradition and he's charting his own path, he's creating some significant breakthrough and that is not dependent upon some existing knowledge. It is him who has created that. This is what the topic is saying. So you may agree and disagree on the topic. There are इसमें कुछ सही और गलत नहीं होता है, right? और अब like समृद्धि is going with agreement and disagreement. So accordingly आप अपना देख सकते हैं कि आपको इस पे agreement लग रहा है या disagreement लग रहा है. कितने लोग agree कर रहे हैं अभी कि जितने significant breakthrough यानी नए inventions हो रहे हैं या नई चीजें आ रही हैं, that is possible. Significant breakthroughs are possible because they were not dependent on existing knowledge. Samriddhi saying, is it necessary to very clearly mention whether you agree? Right, Samriddhi, in between the lines, you'll have to put that viewpoint. I'll tell you how to do it. Within first paragraph, you'll have to mention your intention. आपको अपना इंटेंशन बताना ही पड़ेगा, क्लियर करना पड़ेगा कि आपका बेंड किस तरफ है, एग्रीमेंट पे है, डिसएग्रीमेंट है या दोनों चीजों पे आप जाना चाह रहे हैं. Tanushree is saying she partially agrees with the topic. What about others? So structure is pretty simple. I'll show you what kind of structure you have to follow when you're writing these essays. Unfortunately, we don't have a template like argument. जो हमारे पास argument के लिए बड़ा worded template था, वो यहाँ तो नहीं है, but our structure is ready. The flow in which you have to write, what will be your first paragraph, what will be your second, third paragraph, what will be your conclusion paragraph, all that structure, skeleton of your essay is ready. You just have to follow that format, right? So I'll show it to you. Tanya is saying, sir, can we give examples supporting both the parts and conclusion on what we believe? So when you're giving examples from both the sides, accordingly, you have to create a conclusion, Tanya. Like if you're putting a perspective that I partially agree and I partially do not agree. So in your conclusion also, what kind of conclusion would come? Based on the above reasoning and examples, I would like to conclude that it totally depends करके जो भी आप बोलना चाह रहे हैं. So you can put that perspective of neutral approach, right? But the way you're using your example, similarly your introduction would be there, and similarly your conclusion would also come, right? If you're taking both the sides, and if you partially agree with the topic, then you'll have to put examples from the both sides. You'll have to use reasonings from both the sides. Yes and no, dono hi aapko batani hai. So let's look at the structure of these essays, and then again we'll come to our topic 2 to discuss how to uh, how to frame that particular essay. We'll come back to that again. So planning your essay, the first thing is to create an outline. So as I've suggested in arguments also, that you should be spending your first 5 minutes in planning, right? आपको एक वो outline बनानी है, तो first 5 minutes always keep it for planning, and especially for issue. Argument में तो शायद आपके लिए चीजें आसान है, because you just have to see some flaws, identify assumptions, and you can start writing, right? But with an issue, you'll find it difficult, and especially the people who do not have good reading habits, who are always short on giving good examples, good reasons, they are going to find it difficult to recollect their thoughts, to write something substantial. So always devote at least 5 minutes to remember the examples, what kind of examples you'll be using in agreement and disagreement. जो भी आप साइड लेना चाह रहे हैं उसमें किस तरह के एग्जांपल्स यूज करेंगे, उसके लिए आपको पहले 5 मिनट सब रखने चाहिए. So first is this is pretty straightforward. Your first is introduction, right? In introduction, you are going to paraphrase the topic, right? You'll paraphrase it, you'll write it in your own words, and then you'll put your agreement and disagreement, right? Then in body, so body is basically your middle portion after introduction and before conclusion, in which you'll be writing examples. So this is how your introduction for the essay would start, right? So the topic raises the controversial issue. You don't have to use word controversial. If you don't find that issue particularly very controversial, you can skip this term. You can simply write what this topic is introducing. So the issue is suggesting, or the issue is concluding. Let's go back to our issue. Sorry. Right. So over here, the issue is suggesting that significant breakthroughs are not based on existing knowledge, but they are happening because of some new thinking or new ideology, which is not dependent on past knowledge. So this is how I'll raise the topic, right? Then I'll introduce my stand on that. Agreement and disagreement, uske बारे में लिखूंगा मैं. You'll explain the issue in further detail. Explain how you'll refute it. If अगर आप refute कर रहे हैं in that case, अगर आप उसको agree कर रहे हैं, तो you'll write why you will going to agree on that, right? So this person is going to disagree, तो उन्होंने format वैसे use किया है. Does I generally disagree with the opinion? जो भी वहाँ opinion लिखा था. And you can use term agree also. And for the people who are saying that I'll go with a neutral approach, you can say the issue which is given is pretty subjective, and it depends on what kind of significant accomplishments or significant breakthroughs we are talking about. In history, it's pretty evident that some significant accomplishments or breakthroughs were based on existing knowledge, and it has also been evident that a lot of we'll discuss examples. अभी हम लोग आते हैं उस टॉपिक पे, तो we'll discuss क्या examples हैं. मैं आपको एक बार पूरा फॉर्मेट दिखा देता हूँ. Then ये बॉडी आपकी चालू हो जाएगी. अब बॉडी इज बेसिकली नथिंग बट आपका पैराग्राफ 2 है. पैराग्राफ 1 इज इंट्रोडक्शन, राइट? सो फ्रॉम पैराग्राफ 2 we'll start writing your reasons to similarly para 2, para 3 will also be your reasons to support maybe, or right, along with reasons you can always use the examples, right? Plainly अगर आपको सिर्फ logically लिखना है, you can write in two kinds of things, or you can make a combination of both, कि आप या तो logics या reasons use कर सकते हैं किसी चीज को बताने के लिए या किसी चीज को substantiate करने के लिए, or else you can use examples to substantiate that. अगर आप इस टॉपिक पे डिसएग्रीमेंट पे जा रहे हैं, तो इन पैराग्राफ 2 यू विल स्टार्ट राइटिंग लॉजिकली और रीजनेबली why this kind of issue could be wrong, why this kind of topic is wrong. The topic is that significant breakthroughs are not always built upon existing knowledge, right? So अगर आप इसके agreement पे हैं, so you will be writing reasons for this. If you are in disagreement, again you will be writing reasons to support or go against it, or you may also use examples. If you're not finding good reasons, you can always go with good examples to support that, or you can create combination of reasons with examples in every paragraph, right? Just make sure whenever you are writing these paragraphs, when you are framing the paragraphs, the conclusion part of every paragraph should always tell the reader how it is supporting the thesis, how this example or how this reason which you have used is supporting the main point that you are putting up. ठीक है, मेन पॉइंट यानी जो आप एग्रीमेंट डिसएग्रीमेंट या न्यूट्रल अप्रोच ले रहे हैं, राइट, उस पे ये एग्जांपल या रीजन कैसे फिट होता है एंड हाउ डज इट सपोर्ट आफ्टर एंड ऑफ एवरी पैराग्राफ यू शुड एक्चुअली ट्राई टू रिलेट दिस थिंग. सो दिस इज योर बॉडी पैराग्राफ, राइट. जस्ट एक चीज मैं आप लोगों को सजेशन देना चाहूंगा, इवन द वंस हु टोटली एग्री ऑन द टॉपिक always keep room for some exceptions, right? Exceptions are always possible. We cannot go so extreme कि हम लोग पूरा agreement पे ही लग दें. Similarly, the people who are disagreeing can write one paragraph on the exception. Usually that is your fourth paragraph. Paragraph 2 and paragraph 3, for example, if you are disagreeing, तो आपने disagreement के लिए दो reasons और examples use कर लिए, para 2, para 3. On para 4, you'll come and you'll talk about agreements also. You'll talk about exceptions in few cases where actually the older knowledge, the new knowledge, or sorry, new breakthrough that happened, that wasn't dependent on some old knowledge, right? वो ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज पे डिपेंडेंट नहीं था, तो आप उसका एक एग्जांपल लिख सकते हैं. अगर आपने दो डिसएग्रीमेंट के लिए लिख दिए, तो आप एक पैराग्राफ अपना एक्सेप्शन के लिए रखिए एंड देन यू विल हैव अ कंक्लूडिंग पैराग्राफ. दिस इज हाउ योर फ्लो इज गोइंग टू गो. सो बॉडी ऑफ द इशू में यही आ जाएगा. First of all, you'll start with this. First of all, I would like to point out, then you'll use the reasons, or you'll use an example to illustrate. Let us look at the example. Then you'll introduce an example. In this circumstance, obviously, consequently, it is pretty obvious. तो आप main assertion को वापस से डाल रहे हैं. जो मैं बोल रहा था ना, आपको main thesis या main point को आप वापस से relate करेंगे. हर paragraph के बाद you'll write these kind of lines. Consequently, it is pretty obvious. With this example, it is clear, it is evident, it is apparent that whatever you want to state, right? Whatever your stand is, you can introduce that. Main assertion पे आप वापस आ सकते हैं. Second paragraph, start with, always try to use these transition words. जो GRE का essay rater होता है, that actually works on idea of natural language processing. A lot of you coming from IT and computer science background, you might be aware with the NLP technology, right? So natural language processing, what it does is it understands how your semantic and your wording, everything which you're using within your essays, how does it work? So it identifies these kind of keywords. Furthermore, while, right? इनको transition words भी कहते हैं, जो हम reading comprehension में भी देखते थे, आपको RC में भी आते थे ना. So ये first of all, furthermore, moreover, while, admittedly, इस तरह के use करने हैं. Then if you are going to a paragraph जहाँ पे आप disagreement पे ला रहे हो, as I said that keep your paragraph 4 to keep some kind of disagreement or some kind of exception. So over there आप use कर सकते हैं although, right? You can use all those contrasting words जो use होते हैं हमारे keywords, आप वो use कर सकते हैं. However से आप चालू कर सकते हैं, ठीक है? However, in few cases this may not be true. Then you can write about those reasons also, or those cases where this particular topic on which you are agreeing or disagreeing, this may not hold true on particular situation. You can introduce that situation, right? So let me help you understand. Your paragraph 1 is going to be introduction, right? In introduction, आप उसको topic को introduce करेंगे and you'll clear your stand as well. Agreement and disagreement. In paragraph 2 is for reasons and examples on the stand you have taken. Para 3 is again reasons and examples. ये मैं इसी टेम्पलेट का आपको बहुत शॉर्टर वर्जन चैट बॉक्स पे लिख के दे रहा हूँ. And para 4 is writing exceptions Para 5 is about concluding. Right? So be it any topic, your structure is going to remain same. You'll start with a paragraph and introduction in which you will clear your stand. Then you'll put up your reasons and examples to support that. Every paragraph, always make sure that you're relating it with your main point. Main assertion से उसको relate करना है, like this. Consequently, it is pretty obvious. Hence, all evidence above demonstrates that. So these are your concluding lines of paragraph, not the final conclusion of that particular example. You're writing a concluding line. ये सब keywords NLP measure करता है, evaluate करता है. जब आपका E-rater ऐसे का जो होता है, that always sees these kind of transition statements, keywords, your structure, your flow on that. So all these things are being checked. तो अगर आप ये keywords use करेंगे, this will always fetch you good marks in the examination, right? So this is how your flow should be going on. Now let's talk about how to come up with good examples. So let's go back to our topic 2, which we were discussing. Let's come to this topic. How many of you are still struggling to find good examples on topic 2? कितने लोगों को समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है इस पे क्या लिखें हम? आपको एग्रीमेंट डिसएग्रीमेंट शायद आ गया होगा मन से कि आप एग्री करते हैं कि नहीं करते हैं, but then you might be finding it difficult to bring good examples. How many of you are struggling on that aspect? ये सोच तो लिया हमें एग्री करना है डिसएग्री करना है, पर इसके आगे क्या? That is basically brainstorming in which you have to come up with reasons and examples. So let's start with all the people who agree or maybe disagree or going with neutral approach. What you're going to write in your second paragraph. Paragraph 1 is introduction, but how you are going to start your paragraph 2. Like what examples you can use to support that. Like Samriddhi was saying that I'll go with agreement and disagreement, Samriddhi. So what example you'll use for both agreement and disagreement? And similarly, others also, you also try to contribute, all the other students. Whatever examples you have for agreement, disagreement, you can discuss that. Or reasons, maybe logical reasons could be there. Not if examples, you can always use reasons. आ रहे हैं आप लोग को एग्जांपल्स कुछ समझ में जो आप लिख पाए? चलिए, for the ones who are struggling to identify good examples, let me make it easy. In paragraph 2, अगर आपको अच्छे examples नहीं याद आ रहे हैं from outside world, right? Try to So writing something personal is basically you can even write about your personal experiences. If you are not able, this is when you're not able to get good ideas, you can always come up because in these paragraph, in these topics, issue topics, you're free to write about your perspective from your reading, from your experiences, from your education background. You can use all your examples from those places. So if you're struggling, it's hard to find good examples from outside, look within your own life, right? Go in retrospection and try to see if these examples, if there was something which happened in your life or you have witnessed something personally which you can write about. Not just with this topic, with any topic you can write about that. As an engineering student, what I have felt, or studying humanities, this is the thing which I have experienced, right? तो जब भी आप के पास सही एग्जांपल्स नहीं बच रहे हो या आपको नहीं समझ आ रहे हो, दिस इज वन ऑफ द ट्रिक्स दैट यू कैन डू, that you can write from your personal experiences. Just to give you an idea, if there is a topic in which they are saying that the censorship of broadcasting should be totally governed by, so this is the kind of topic which has been given to you, in which they are saying censorship of any broadcasting on media that should be totally governed by the government, whether you agree or disagree on this topic. So again, you'll have to put examples. So maybe if you're not finding examples from outside, you can start writing about your personal experience, right? You can even see nobody's going to check you on that. Even if you make up stories or write a personal anecdote over there, so nobody's going to do a background check on that. So if you are running short on ideas, you don't have relevant examples, this is one of the tricks that you can do, that you can think about some personal experience, or you can make up an experience that while studying in 10th grade or high school, I saw a program which wasn't appropriate for my age, and it left a lasting impact on my thinking or my mind. So I think a government censorship could have stopped that. Or maybe you can recall a time when riots or something happened because of a program which was broadcasted, which wasn't, which was hurting somebody's religious sentiments, and because of that, riots or something happened. So you can write from your personal experiences also, something which you have experienced personally in your life. You can use those as examples. Even if you don't have those examples in reality, you can make up those things, right? Nobody's going to check you, background check नहीं होने वाला है. So if you are running short on ideas, आप अपने examples वहाँ पे life के लिख सकते हैं. It could be your education field, it could be sports, it could be about your country, right? Living in India or living in Madhya Pradesh. You can use several examples from your upbringing. So nobody is going to check you on that. You can keep one paragraph to write about your personal experiences or using a personal example. So one paragraph we have used, right? Paragraph 2 तो हमने चलिए personal experience के लिए लिख लिया है. अब paragraph 3 पे again we do not. This I'm telling you for the cases when you actually don't have any clue what to write. Okay, these are the tricks that you have to use. So paragraph 2, as I said, can be used for personal experiences. Paragraph 3 is where you can do a pest analysis on the topic. So pest analysis is nothing but it's a short form for political, economy, and society and technology. So this is basically thinking from all of these angles on the topic. कि क्या मैं कोई पॉलिटिकल एग्जांपल या पॉलिटिकल थ्योरी के ऊपर कुछ यहाँ लिख सकता हूँ मैं, या कोई इकोनॉमी से रिलेवेंट पॉइंट कैन आई ब्रिंग इट ओवर हियर कि उसका इकोनॉमी पे इम्पैक्ट क्या हो सकता है या सोसाइटी पे क्या इम्पैक्ट हो सकता है, और मे बी रिलेटेड टू टेक्नोलॉजी इफ आई हैव समथिंग सो आई कैन कंट्रीब्यूट ऑन दैट, राइट. सो आप उस पर सोचिए कि कोई पॉलिटिकल चीज़ है जो मैं लिख सकता हूँ, कोई पॉलिटिकली रिलेवेंट समथिंग है, राइट. हिटलर का एग्जाम्पल आपको याद आ रहा है, या डिक्टेटरशिप के कोई एग्जाम्पल्स याद आ रहे हैं आपको, डेमोक्रेसी पे आपको कोई बात याद आ रही है. सो ट्राई टू थिंक फ्रॉम दैट एंगल. अगर वहाँ से कोई आइडियाज आपको नहीं आ रहे हैं, यू कैन कम टू द इकोनॉमी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू whereby you'll talk about the poverty within the country if it's related to that topic, the income, demand and supply, right? The impact of the impact on the economy of that topic, if you can think about that. आई एम नॉट जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट टॉपिक 2, बट इन जनरल एनी टॉपिक पे आप सोचने की कोशिश करिए, या फिर कोई सोसाइटी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से सोचिए कि सोसाइटी पे उसके एग्रीमेंट डिसएग्रीमेंट पे कोई आप एग्जांपल्स ला सकते हैं, और मे बी ऑन टेक्नोलॉजी एस्पेक्ट, राइट. अब कोशिश करिए आप लोग अपने एग्जांपल्स लाने की. आ रहे हैं अभी भी एग्जांपल्स की नहीं याद आ रहे आप लोगों को? सोचो एग्जाम में एक्चुअली ये टॉपिक आ गया तो हाउ यू गाइज आर गोइंग टू राइट अबाउट इट. Any example? Yashvi is saying, will we be marked on the factual correctness of these examples? See, if you're using examples from real life of a person, thoda sa factual correctness Yashvi zaruri hai. Maybe, see, dates obviously you're not going to put, right? Ki in year 1950 or this. So, utni, if you're not sure about the dates and years, do not use them, right? But if that incident has not happened in history, and then you're mentioning it over there, for example, giving example of Adolf Hitler, and making up an experience, an example or incident which did not happen in history would not be the right thing to do, right? So factual correctness एकदम data और numbers पे तो नहीं होगी यशवी, but when you're using some examples, make sure that they existed in the history. हम outside world के examples को make up नहीं कर सकते हैं, अपनी life के experiences और examples को we can create, but then बाहर के examples पे careful रहना आप लोग, right? हाँ, आप इस तरह की लाइन ज़रूर यूज़ कर सकते हैं, which I used to do in my times writing the essays. जब आइडियाज़ नहीं मिलते थे तो दिस इज समथिंग जो वेरीफाई करने के लिए कोई टाइम नहीं खर्चा करना चाहेगा. So these kind of things cannot be checked as a fact, right? The statement which I've just written, Yashvi, for these, there's nothing factual about it, right? I've used some very anonymous source. I have not even mentioned. I have not written whether it was published in Scientific America, where was this research published. This is all you'll be doing when you actually don't have ideas to contribute, so you can make up things, right? So if you're making up things from outside world, try to use similar kind of examples or lines. So according to a famous research published in America, majority of scientists have been dependent on existing books and knowledge to create breakthrough technologies. If I want to disagree on this topic, this is the kind of viewpoint I can bring. This is the kind of example I can use. So obviously, where this famous research was published, I don't have to cite that. I don't have to write about it, and nobody is going to check me on those facts, right? So if you have to use anything, do not cite or mention names or resources which can be checked, right? You can use just the anonymous sources, the way I have mentioned it in a generic term, right? Samriddhi has put up a viewpoint. Breaking with tradition often comes at risk that may be irreversible. For example, when Oppenheimer created the atomic bomb, it was a move away from every other kind of innovation weaponry, but at the same time, its negative consequence, nuclear warfare could not have been preempted, right? So Samriddhi is saying that this new thing can be detrimental, right? This is the viewpoint that you want to bring. If you break from the tradition, but see, the point is not whether breaking, doing different from the tradition will lead to good or bad. That is not the viewpoint जो हम लोग यहाँ पे पूछ रहे हैं इशू में. उनका ये कहना है कि जो बड़ी टेक्नोलॉजीज बनी है ना समृद्धि अभी तक, फॉर एग्जांपल इट कुड बी एटॉमिक बॉम्ब, right? All the breakthrough technologies or breakthrough significant breakthroughs which have happened, they were not dependent on existing knowledge. मेजॉरिटी जो थे क्लियरली इन्होंने देखो क्या बोला है कि मैनी सिग्निफिकेंट जो ब्रेक थ्रूज हैं वो ट्रेडिशन को तोड़ के बने हुए हैं. दे वर नॉट डिपेंडेंट ऑन एग्जिस्टिंग नॉलेज. सो वी हैव नॉट बीन आस्क्ड वेदर व्हाट वर द रिपरकशंस ऑफ दोस टेक्नोलॉजीज, राइट? हमसे ये पूछा गया ये बात सच है कि नहीं है. ठीक है, तो आपका एग्जाम्पल अच्छा है समृद्धि. इज जस्ट उसको वी कैन पुट इट इन डिफरेंट वे दैट these kind of creation or these kind of significant breakthroughs, although not good for humanity, right, although detrimental for humanity, they were not based on existing knowledge. So you can put it that way. ठीक है, अब देखो जैसे इस पे अगर मुझे एग्रीमेंट करना है तो आई कैन यूज various examples. The first example that comes to my mind is Galileo, right? Try to go within history and you'll find that almost all philosophers were actually questioning the existing knowledge. आप किसी भी फिलोसोफर की हिस्ट्री पे जाओगे, whether it is Socrates, ग्रीक जितने भी philosophers थे, Plato, if you go and see, look at their history, most of them were actually questioning the things that were happening. Probing nature था इन लोगों का, and they were always questioning the existing knowledge. So all the new knowledge they brought to us, for example, Galileo ने काफी सारी थ्योरीज हमें दी. The first thing जो उसने ब्रेक किया ट्रेडिशन को या बताया हमें, that was basically not dependent on the existing knowledge, it was his own new knowledge. So had he been believing in the existing knowledge, he would not have told us that earth is not the center of solar system. So in earlier times people were believing that earth is the center to solar system and all other planets are revolving around, rotating around earth, which wasn't the case. So Galileo was the person whose knowledge was actually not dependent on existing knowledge. That significant breakthrough of finding this theory that sun is the center of solar system. So again, his knowledge, this breakthrough wasn't dependent upon existing knowledge. So I can very well use Galileo as my example to start with. I can use any scientist example in past to begin with. बहुत सारी theories पहले time पे जो चलती थी उनको scientist या philosophers ने ही question करके disregard किया और नई theories introduce की है. So obviously significant breakthroughs are not always built upon existing knowledge. I can very well agree on this aspect and I can put 2-3 good examples on that. I can use historical जितने भी examples हैं मैं उठा सकता हूँ scientist और philosophers के जहाँ पे ऐसा हुआ है, right? Tanya is saying, Tanya, put this in the public. I'll just wait a moment. I'll put it in. So Tanya is saying no discovery is fortuitous. You need references for the work or to find loopholes in the work that had been done earlier. For example, the great theory of relativity was somewhere based on Newton's theory and his misconceptions about time. Einstein's theory of relativity was breakthrough for the scientific world. So Tanya is suggesting that using all those examples, she can put up that they were actually built up on existing knowledge. Even if they were finding loopholes and questioning the existing knowledge, in some way they were dependent on the past knowledge. That is the viewpoint she's putting up, which is a good example, Tanya. The example which you're giving is a good example. कि जितने साइंटिस्ट थे वो पुरानी थ्योरीज पढ़ के या पुराने कॉन्सेप्ट्स पढ़ के उसमें से प्रॉब्लम्स देख के निकाल रहे थे या उसमें चैलेंजेस देख रहे थे, एंड दैट्स हाउ दे फाउंड देयर ब्रेक थ्रू, सिग्निफिकेंट ब्रेक थ्रूज, राइट? So it was in some way dependent on existing knowledge. So as I previously said, there's nothing right and wrong about it. You can use similar examples to create an agreement on this topic. You can use similar examples and twist the statement to create a disagreement on the topic. It totally depends what kind of stand you want to take on this, right? And then I can use a lot of examples where breakthroughs were actually dependent on existing knowledge, right? यहाँ पे तो हमने बात करी है कि जब breakthroughs, दो तीन जब मैं examples दे रहा था, Galileo and other people who were trying to think very differently from their contemporaries, and their knowledge was not built upon the existing knowledge. The kind of concepts or breakthroughs they have given to us, they were made by themselves. Yashvi saying discovery of lives on planets other than Earth. ठीक है यशवी. So with this example आप क्या बोल रहे हो? Agreement or disagreement? ये जो breakthrough है, that was dependent on the existing knowledge or this wasn't dependent on the existing knowledge? Contradicted existing knowledge. So this wasn't dependent on the existing knowledge. So you are agreeing on the topic, right? With this example, which is fine. You can use this example to contradict the existing knowledge, right? Now, as I said that I can write 2 paragraphs on the agreement, right? I can say that a lot of significant breakthroughs were not built upon the existing knowledge. Now, as I said that I'll be using 1 paragraph just before the conclusion to write about the exceptions. So I can use exception part and uh, I can write about the reasons and examples where this particular point will not hold true. So I can probably talk about Samriddhi is suggesting one more example. Innovation in epidemiology is based on study of extant knowledge such as COVID research builds upon existing knowledge. Right, Samriddhi? बहुत अच्छा. Samriddhi is putting up a viewpoint which is in contrary to this statement, right? So she is using an example of COVID research. So जो अभी COVID-19 है basically, जो coronavirus, this one है, because coronavirus have existed in past also, but this is novel coronavirus which is called COVID-19 because that was discovered in 19, that came out in 19. So उसकी जो research हो रही है, that is based on existing knowledge she's suggesting. So again, the point she's trying to make is that significant breakthroughs can be built upon the existing knowledge, or maybe they are built upon existing knowledge. Tanya is suggesting we can talk about Elon Musk, who has created a history in America and has bolstered American aeronautics. His innovations are absolutely based on existing knowledge, right, Tanya? You can always use that example. Elon Musk ke to, I think there are plenty of examples you can use, from electrical vehicles to space technology which he's creating. So there are numerous things which are dependent on the past data or knowledge. And in fact, I can go a little bit psychological also. I can use some psychological theories or reasons also uh, to defend my viewpoint or to put up the viewpoint that significant breakthroughs are dependent on existing knowledge. So I can talk about social conditioning theory, right? So social conditioning theory basically states that we all, when we are living in this world, we are surrounded by our family members, our people, our country, right? So this as a society has a huge influence on us. So all the things, the way we start talking, the way we keep our accent, if you're living in Indore, your accent is going to be a little different compared to somebody who's living in other part of India. So all that is coming from your social conditioning, your viewpoint, आपका जैसे अभी बहुत डिबेट में चलता है, आर यू अ राइट विंगर और अ लेफ्ट विंगर, राइट? और सेंट्रल विंग है, आपका क्या टेक रहता है पॉलिटिक्स में या चीज़ों पे. सो ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स आर actually conditioned by the society that you are part of. So social conditioning theory has a major impact on your psyche, the way you think, the way you make decisions. So a lot of things which you think are coming from your own knowledge are actually जो आपके instincts create होते हैं, that instincts is basically coming from your subconscious mind. A subconscious mind is which is registering a lot of details subconsciously. You are actually not aware about those things. Maybe when you are crossing your road, आप जब ट्रैफिक या रोड पे क्रॉस कर रहे होते हैं by walking, so you can only, your conscious mind is only seeing the vehicles that are coming in your way, right? Your focus is just on the traffic light, whether it is green, red, whether it is okay to walk, and you are just watching the vehicles, that some vehicles shouldn't come in your way. So that is your conscious mind, but your subconscious mind is registering a lot of details which are there nearby, right? वो पीछे के हॉर्न्स भी सुनाई दे रहे हैं, पीछे किसी का कॉन्वर्सेशन भी हो रहा है जो आपका सबकॉन्शियस सुन रहा है, एंड मे बी यू आर नॉट लिसनिंग टू इट कॉन्शियसली. सो ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स दे कंट्रीब्यूट टू योर इंस्टिंक्ट्स. आपकी गट फीलिंग एंड इंस्टिंक्ट्स दे एक्चुअली कम फ्रॉम योर सबकॉन्शियस. So similarly, within social conditioning theory, it is very much evident that all the things which you think about, the way you think, are actually conditioned by your upbringing, parents, society, family. So existing knowledge does have an impact on any significant breakthrough you're creating. That actually came from somewhere. It cannot come from nowhere, right? ऐसा नहीं है कि वो आपने ही किया और अभी तक उस पर कोई existing knowledge नहीं था. तो I can use this as my contrary viewpoint in last second paragraph. Just before the conclusion, I can bring this kind of viewpoint where I can talk about that significant breakthroughs are at times dependent upon existing knowledge. They do have a connection with existing knowledge, right? Maybe the kind of invention or thing which you have created, like Samriddhi was suggesting about COVID. So COVID का वैक्सीन आ जाएगा तो obviously वो ऐसा नहीं है कि this breakthrough जो हुआ है that wasn't dependent on existing knowledge. वो existing failures पे कई बार dependent होता है, right? कि क्या वैक्सीन के components या क्या चीजें work नहीं कर पाई हैं. So now learning from all of those failures, all of those shortcomings, you'll actually make up a product which will overcome those things. So a breakthrough can be dependent on existing knowledge, right? Geet is suggesting example of an iPhone modification models from iPhone 1 model. ठीक है Geet. So that was dependent on existing knowledge, right? Significant breakthrough. So with an iPhone, a mobile phone was a significant breakthrough, right? But that was again made on the concept of satellite phones, the remote phones that army used to have in those times. So mobile phone ka sara invention has come from army. So again, it has come from the existing knowledge. The internet technology has come from army, right? So war is actually gives rise to a lot of breakthroughs, a lot of inventions and breakthroughs. They actually happen during the war situation. ठीक है, बहुत सारी टेक्नोलॉजी स्पेशली वेपन टेक्नोलॉजी या इस तरह की जो इंटरनेट और ये सब चीज़ें हैं, ये सब यूजुअली वॉर के टाइम पे बहुत ज़्यादा बन जाती हैं. So it is again dependent upon existing knowledge. So as I said, there's nothing right and wrong about these topics. You can take any stand. You just have to ensure that you do have sufficient examples. When you're running out of examples, you can use the tricks which I have told you. जो यहाँ पे मैंने आपको tricks बताई हैं, तो आप हमेशा use कर सकते हैं कि अगर you are running out of ideas, आप paragraph 2 में कोई personal reason use कर लो, अपनी life से निकाल के कोई reason लिख दो आप, right? Paragraph 3 में you can use pest analysis. You can think from all of these viewpoints to come up with some approach or a viewpoint जो इस टॉपिक से रिलेवेंट है, जो आपकी बात से रिलेवेंट हो रहा है, right? Then you can come to paragraph 5, which is your conclusion. Tanvi is saying to know what outside the box consists of, you need to know what all is inside the box or what is existing knowledge. Everything is built upon existing knowledge. It's just matter of who thinks of a breakthrough first. Good, Tanvi. This can be a very good start. जो हम introduction create करते हैं ना passage का, ये ऐसे का, so this can become a wonderful introduction in which you are actually stating that you agree on the topic. ठीक है कि sorry, you disagree on the topic that बहुत सारी जो technologies या breakthroughs हो रहे हैं, they are dependent on existing knowledge. So this can make up a wonderful start for your essay. Let's look at another topic. and let's try to see कितना उस पे examples या reasons. जो topic मैंने लिए हैं थोड़े से हो सकता है कुछ लोगों के लिए abstract हो या उसके लिए examples नहीं हो, पर आपको करना यही है. And trust me, if you are into good reading habits, you'll have plenty of ideas to contribute. You'll have good examples, and that's why I keep stressing upon that thing. Not just for your comprehension and good vocabulary, you'll always have good ideas when it comes to conversing with others also. Over there also you'll be involved in research work, talking to your professors, to your peer group, having small talks in the interviews. So all of these reading habits, they help you to have those mood talks. आपके वो जो small talks होते हैं ना, वो आप कर पाते हो अगर आपके पास कुछ knowledge होता है, कुछ बातें होती हैं करने के लिए. Topic 1 पे आ जाते हैं. People who work in arts and humanities should earn less than those who work in sciences and economics, because the benefits of arts and humanities to the population is less important than that of scientific or economic endeavors. So again, I'm giving you 2-3 minutes to think about this topic and try to think about good examples to support or to disagree on this topic. सोचिए आप लोग examples क्या क्या आप लिखना चाहेंगे. So how many of you agree or disagree on this topic? कितने लोगों का एग्रीमेंट है इस पे? या कितने लोग डिसएग्री करते हैं? तानिया says I would disagree with this topic. ठीक है तानिया, क्या रीजंस और एग्जांपल सोच रहे हैं आप इसके लिए डिसएग्री होने के लिए? What about others? Tanvi says she is disagreeing on the topic. रीजंस क्या देना चाहते हैं आप लोग, क्यों डिसएग्रीमेंट है आप लोगों का? Geet is saying it depends upon knowledge, situation, hypothetical. ठीक है गीत. समृद्धि ने तो आधा ऐसे लिख दिया है मेरे ख्याल से. Disagree. When the world went under lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic, most people turned to music, movies, and other forms of art as a means to cope with isolation. Good. Therefore, this assumption that the contributors of arts and humanities are less important than those of scientific or economic endeavors is invalid. Moreover, the fields of science and humanities don't exist in a vacuum separated from one another. They interact and coalesce to create most forms of innovation. Wonderful, Samriddhi. Very good example. So she has taken up a very prevalent example which is happening with us right now within COVID situation. We all can see how arts and humanities, those fields, they have benefited us, right? All the movie work, all the web series that you were watching, that all has a brain which is coming from arts and humanities. Most of those people are coming from these areas. Moreover, when it comes to creating a vision for life, just a moment. देखो एक this is basically the viewpoint which is given in this issue. That is a very utilitarian viewpoint. A utilitarian viewpoint is that I'll only see things from their utility viewpoint, right? So scientists and economics, all the things which have tangible realization. I'll see things from that viewpoint only. Tangible realization is something that I can touch and feel. For example, scientific inventions and technology जो होती है वो आप feel कर सकते हैं. You can feel your laptops, mobile phones which you are having right now. So that inventions you can always touch and see that the existence and relevance is there, utility is there. But arts and humanities, they have a lot of intangible contributions. Intangible contributions is basically which you cannot see, but the presence is there, right? आप उसको touch नहीं कर सकते हैं, पर वो contributions रहते हैं. कैसे? You look at any country, you'll find that bureaucrats, politicians, leadership positions में बैठे हुए लोग, the people working in United Nations, the people who are working for the benefit of the society and world, right? People who are keeping bigger vision of binding this society together to work in harmony. Most of them are coming from arts and humanities. Moreover, a lot of scientific innovations are happening in the countries like US. You are pretty aware that US is on forefront of all the new technologies, whether it is about driverless cars, whether it is about artificial intelligence, machine learning, any new technology you talk about, and US is cynosure of that, right? US has that thing happening. The reason for that is US has also put an equal emphasis on arts and humanities education. That's why over there, people are not just aiming to get things done. Within India, what is happening is that we are just learning to adapt those technologies. If some technology, AI, ML, anything which has been created, it can be Google, it can be any new technology. So we just try to learn those technologies. We try to learn those coding techniques and programming languages, but then creation is very less in Indian society, right? I'm not demeaning our society, but then the kind of education system, everything we are following, we actually do not have holistic approach towards things, and that is happening in US. Arts and humanities are given equal emphasis because of which these inventions are happening. वहाँ क्यों इतने inventions हो रही? क्योंकि उनकी society में ये चीज facilitated है. Because of that, arts and humanities, lot of these things are happening. वहाँ पे original creation, Facebook is happening over there, Google is happening over there, and you'll find that all of the people who are involved from these uh, within these ventures, जो इतने बड़े ventures create हो रहे हैं, उसमें बहुत सारे लोग arts and humanities background से आते हैं. Reason being, vision भी होता है एक, right? You're good at creating a technology will not matter until unless you know how to disseminate that technology to others, right? एक उसका डिसमिनेशन भी तो जरूरी है ना. वो टेक्नोलॉजी रीच कैसे करे, दूसरे लोगों पे पहुंचे कैसे, उसका एंड यूजर तक बेनिफिट कैसे जाए. So that bigger plan is always necessary, which actually comes from people coming from arts and humanities background. So these backgrounds are equally important. These creative background are equally important in society. क्योंकि अगर देखो क्रिएशन नहीं है, if you remember, I can use plenty of examples here, and I'm recalling one of our very relevant examples. There was a speech of Steve Jobs at Stanford. Stanford की graduation ceremony पे Steve Jobs का बहुत famous speech है. Try to Google it. It is one of the most inspiring speech that you'll hear in your life. So within that speech, Steve Jobs has mentioned that he randomly enrolled for a calligraphy class in Stanford. Although he was a computer science student over there, and you might be knowing that he dropped out from Stanford, right? But in first few years, he enrolled for a calligraphy class also. So you might be thinking why a computer science guy has gone for a calligraphy class, and that is what he was wondering when he opted for it. He opted for it out of interest. He wanted to learn calligraphy. So later on, he realized that when he was creating the Apple technology, the operating system of Apple, all his emphasis was on not just technology, but the aesthetics of it. Aesthetics is basically आपके buttons कैसे दिखेंगे, आपका fonts कैसे दिखेगा, right? So beauty of the products, and that's why we also value and we love Apple a lot. उनका आपने देखा है ना कि design, user interface, the aesthetics of their products is unique, and they work upon it. So he was saying कि calligraphy classes में मैंने ये सब बहुत सीखा. मैंने देखा कि writing पे emphasis and writing those fonts, how it can relate and make my mind creative, and I use that knowledge in order to create beautiful products within my organization. So again, that was coming from arts background. वो अगर arts से इसका relation नहीं निकालता, तो he would not have put so much of emphasis on creating the products which have good aesthetic value. आपने जितने एप्पल के प्रोडक्ट्स देखे होंगे, whether it is MacBook, whether it is iPhone, whether it was iPod, right? They all are known for the way they look, touch and feel, look. That is always there. The aesthetic part, the beauty of those products is always there. Tanvi has written a paragraph. Subjects like history, psychology are important too for the development and progress of a country. Without history, we would still be repeating the mistakes that people used to commit hundreds of years back. Without psychology, we might have. ठीक है Tanvi, but try to use more examples from art and humanities. राइट, क्योंकि उनका एम्फेसिस देखो इन दो चीज पे ही ज्यादा है कि आर्ट एंड ह्यूमैनिटीज जैसे डिसिप्लिन के लोगों को, ह्यूमैनिटीज इज बेसिकली म्यूजिक, पोएम्स, ठीक है, हिस्ट्री इज आल्सो पार्ट ऑफ ह्यूमैनिटी, राइट? सो ये सब उसी में आ जाता है, तो इनके एग्जांपल ज्यादा यूज करना तन्वी, बट इट्स अ गुड रीजनिंग व्हिच यू आर पुटिंग अप. Arnav is saying people were able to indulge in arts and humanities during lockdown because they were alive. Unfortunately, being alive is a condition that applies on everything that a human being can do in their lives. Arts and humanities, for all of their benefits, are rendered absolutely useless in time of crisis. So Arnav is bringing just a contrary viewpoint to what Samriddhi was stating. Unfortunately, money is proven motivator when it comes to hard work, and if we want the brilliant minds of our society to work for the welfare of the society, we have to pay them handsomely. If that means that they are going to earn more than their counterparts in arts and humanities, people should be fine with it. So Arnav ka bada utilitarian viewpoint hai. The viewpoint which he is putting up is that साइंस में जो तरक्की हो रही है, जो वेलफेयर हो रहा है सोसाइटी का, तो उसमें आप ज़्यादा पे करोगे तभी ब्रिलियंट माइंड्स आएंगे. सो टू अट्रैक्ट देम यू पे मोर, एंड दैट्स हाउ यू विल अट्रैक्ट द ब्रिलियंट माइंड्स इन साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी. एंड द अदर पीपल ऑप्टिंग फॉर आर्ट्स एंड ह्यूमैनिटीज, दे शुड बी ओके विद इट, राइट? अब मैं इस पर डिबेट नहीं करना चाहूँगा बिकॉज अगेन इट इज हिज व्यू पॉइंट. सो इट्स फाइन एज लॉन्ग एज यू कैन बैक इट अप विद गुड एग्जाम्पल्स एंड रीजनिंग, इट्स फाइन अर्नव. ठीक है, there's nothing right and wrong about it. What Samriddhi has stated is also correct. What you have said is also correct. We all have different viewpoints about seeing things in life, so it's completely understandable. Whatever, just use good evidences and examples, right? Good reasons, which you have used Arnav. Tanya is saying this particular topic is vacuous science. Acha, vacuous sense, sorry. Science and innovations can certainly bring affluency, but arts and humanities bring peace in a person's life. This topic objectifies the latter for getting less paid, but its relevance, but it's relevant because life is a balance of both. So we require not only inventions to live, but only things that bring tranquility. So Tanya is putting up that arts and humanity is bringing peace to your living, right? तो एक solace और peace भी है इन चीज़ों के कारण, because of which we can enjoy our life, we can look forward to things in life. So because of all these creativity, there's some kind of existence that we are enjoying, that tranquility is there, which is a good viewpoint, Tanya. Again, we can use that. Geet is saying arts and humanities are creative skills, perspective of learning. ठीक है गीत, ठीक है. तो आप अपने पर्सनल व्यू पॉइंट्स भी यहाँ पे डाल सकते हैं. एज आई सेड, इफ यू आर रनिंग आउट ऑफ एग्जांपल्स, you can use something from your school life, from your college life, or maybe if you are an engineer, if you are coming from humanities background, so you can use that as an example to write about how you are registering your contribution towards society, right? Another example of arts and science working in tandem is work of carpenter, right Samriddhi? So obviously all tools and technologies that carpenters are using, that is science behind it. And the arts part, how the aesthetics of some furniture would look, how aesthetics of a building would look, that is coming from arts field. All the monuments, seven wonders of the world, everything which we see in the history, that is coming from arts, right? So they have their own aesthetic value, they have their own significance, and that's the reason we go and watch those things. ठीक. So as I said, कुछ सही और गलत नहीं है इसमें. What Arnav was suggesting is also right for him. What Samriddhi is saying is right for her. You just have to use good examples and reasons to support your thesis. Whatever point you are putting up over there, आपको उसको support करने के लिए enough examples use करने हैं, reasons use करने हैं. So this will be your structure, right? Paragraph 1, introduction with the kind of stand you want to take. Paragraph 2, an example from outside would be good. If you're not getting those examples, try to use an example from your own personal experiences or life. Paragraph 3, you can do a pest analysis if you again don't have examples. Paragraph 3, yeah, paragraph, sorry. So paragraph 4 आपका ये हो जाएगा, exceptions का हो जाएगा. If you have agreed on first two paragraphs, then your paragraph 4th is opportunity to talk about the exceptions, right? And the last paragraph is about conclusion. So this is how your flow should be going. अब आप अपनी study material में आप जाएंगे, तो I have included analysis of issue के बहुत सारे topics along with their responses. So you'll find plenty of topics over here along with their responses. So in practice, what you should be doing, I think it's not showing the preview, right? Yeah, yeah. So आपको यूजुअली ये नहीं देखना कि उन्होंने क्या लिखा हुआ है, दैट यू कैन कंपेयर लेटर ऑन. बट फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, right, this was the topic I think I was mentioning. In some countries, television and radio programs are carefully considered censored for offensive language and behavior. In other countries, there is little or no censorship, right? So ये वो censorship वाले पे ही आ गया है. उस पे किसी को पूछा गया है कि in your view, to what extent should government or any other group be able to censor television or radio programs? Explain, giving relevant reasons and examples to support your position. So let's look at what this person has written. The extent to which the broadcast media should be censored for offensive language and behavior involves a conflict between a right of free speech and the duty of the government to protect its citizenry from potential harm. In my view, our societal interest in preventing the harm that exposure to obscenity produces takes precedence over the rights of individuals to broadcast this type of content. Now you can see that उसने अपना introduction part लिख दिया है. अब वहाँ से first of all करके he has started. Secondly, so this is how your structure would go. First of all, I believe that exposure to obscene and offensive language and behavior does indeed cause similar behavior on the part of those who are exposed to it. Although we may not have conclusive scientific evidence of cause-effect relationship, ample anecdotal evidence establishes a significant correlation. Moreover, both common sense and our experience with children inform us the people tend to mimic the language and behavior they are exposed to. So in support of his viewpoint, he has written first paragraph, and he has not used an example. He is just he's just using a reason. कि जैसे kids हैं, they see something on television which might not be appropriate for them, but it does have a causal relationship, and people try to mimic the language and behavior they are exposed to. So that's why if some certain kind of content which is not appropriate for kids of that age, if they are seeing those kind of content, that might harm them. That's why censorship from the government is required to protect this particular thing. Secondly, I believe that obscene and offensive behavior is indeed harmful to society. The harm it produces is, in my view, both palpable and profound. For the individual, it has a debasing impact on vital human relationship for society. It promotes a tendency toward immoral and anti-social behavior. Both outcomes in turn tear apart the social fabric that holds our society together. So second example also he has used as a reason, a logic and reason he has used from society, that how obscene and offensive content influences the behavior of people and how it can actually tear apart the moral or social fabric of the society. This is his last second paragraph. Those who advocate unbridled individual expression might point out that the right of free speech is intrinsic to democracy and necessary to its survival. Even so, this right is not absolute, nor it the most critical element. In my assessment, the interest served by restricting obscenity in broadcast media are on balance more crucial to survival of society. Advocates of free expression might also point out difficulties in defining obscene or offensive. So this is a contrary viewpoint he has introduced, right? Ki the people who advocate for free expression, they might find it difficult to categorize what can be called as obscene or what can be called as offensive, because this can be relatively different, right? In American society, what can be called as offensive or obscene, what can be called as obscene and offensive within our society may not be called as obscene or offensive in American society, right? So it totally depends. But in my view, however difficult it may be to agree on standards, the effort is worthwhile. In some, it is our best interest as a society for government to censor broadcast media for obscene. And so he has not used any examples, but it is entirely up to you. You can use just reason statements like he has used, or you can introduce good examples. We could have used examples of North Korea, We could have used example of Paris, where a magazine office was attacked for publishing some cartoon, right? So I can use various examples from the world to talk about why uh, censorship is required by government, like especially in country like India, where people are highly sensitive towards religion. These sentiments are really high when it comes to religion aspect. So in these kind of countries, the government should actually have a control on broadcasting media. Otherwise the situation will not be harmonical, right? Will not be living in a society which has harmony. रोज कुछ ना कुछ दंगे होंगे, कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स हो जाएंगी. अगर everybody is given free speech, free expression, and without government control, there could be numerous problems. We can use example of North Korea as well, right? Geet is suggesting China example where permission is taken, right? So within China, everything is controlled by government, right? They cannot even use Google search. They have their own search engine which is there in their country. Cannot use other social media platforms. So freedom of expression is generally governed by government over there. What should come in television, radio programs, that is censored by government. But यहाँ पे context सिर्फ offensive language and behavior पे ही है, right? So this is how your analysis of issue topics would be coming. So try to take out topics from here. I'll be uploading these videos also for the last 3 classes which I've taken. आपकी arguments की सारी classes और issue के videos I'll upload it on YouTube, and later on you can have those videos as a reference or to recall the strategies that we have discussed. Similarly, you'll have this study material, issue and argument, and plenty of topics are given within that, in which you can see in which you can go and practice the topics. Templates are also given. तो ये सारा आपके referral के लिए material रहेगा. Any questions you guys would like to ask? Issue argument आप सबको अब clear हो गया होगा मेरे ख्याल से, right? Difference क्या है दोनों में? Issue में आपको अपना perspective, agreement, disagreement पे बताना होता है with reasons and examples why you agree or disagree on a topic. Arguments are where somebody already has used evidence or reasons to conclude something. You have to evaluate his reasons, how truthful it is, how logical it is, right? What shortcomings are there, what assumption this author is taking. So that is an argument part, and which we have already studied what kind of fallacies are there in argument. So I hope these classes would be helpful, these sessions which I've taken on issue and argument, and you guys should be able, if you follow just the strategy part which I'm suggesting, the structure, the paragraph, do not worry about using good words, vocabulary words. आप इतने सारे words अभी पढ़ेंगे, लेकिन trust me, if you are not in the habit of using those words regularly, you'll find it difficult to recall and use them. So what I have seen students generally is that they deliberately try to push a word. For example, somebody who has just a minute. So somebody who has learned this new word, pulchritudinous, right? So pulchritudinous, आपने कहीं सीख लिया कि ये word का मतलब होता है to describe something which is beautiful, right? अब आप वो beautiful नहीं लिखने की जगह you are trying to deliberately push this word, and you haven't seen how this word is used in the context, right? So forcing words in the context, the wrong usage of the words, that is actually going to be more damaging. And more damaging aspect is that a lot of us, we spend time in thinking, recalling those words rather than thinking about our content, what kind of content or good examples or reasons we can put up. Rather than thinking about it, we try to think about all those difficult terms we can use in our essays, which is again waste of time. They are not going to give you extra marks for using GRE vocabulary words. All those vocabulary words are being checked in text completion and equivalence in your reading comprehension. So in issue and argument, there is no brownie points for using all those good words or vocabulary. If they are coming naturally in your way of writing, use it, but do not waste your time in recalling those words and pushing them out of context. लिखने की कोशिश ना करें उसको, right? चलिए, I'll see you guys then next week, right? We'll meet next week, Monday. Thank you, everyone.